What made him this way? What is the attraction? What keeps us fascinated? This is the story of Sonichu. In the last exciting installment of Sonichu, we witnessed the unfolding of the ancient prophecy, the destined meeting of the three heroes, and watched as they foiled the plot of Count Graduan and the wicked Mary Lee Walsh. The fourth issue, Sonichu number 3, begins with episode 10, Sonichu Babies. As referenced in Sonichu 0, the rainbow burst of energy created by a Pikachu colliding with Supersonic also created 5 eggs emblazoned with lightning, which were scattered around the region. They would eventually become the unstoppable, chaotic combo. But this episode gives us a look into how they mastered their great power. The author gives us a possible look at Sonichu and Rosachu as babies instead of being created as already evolved. The male baby Pokemon are known as Sonies and the females as Rosies. First is the story of the green egg, which landed in a lush jungle and was found by a Venusaur and Scyther. The Venusaur had taught him survival skills like using Vine Whip to grab coconuts, and the Scyther helped him to use Razor Leaf. Eventually, the Sawney evolved into the grass-type Wild Sonichu and fully mastered his abilities, including flight with his leafy tail as a propeller. The next story begins with the blue egg landing deep into the ocean, only to be pulled ashore and raised by a nearby Swampert. The blue Rosie had enjoyed her time with Swampert until one day, while playing in the ocean, a Wailord had jumped over the both of them while holding a rock in its flipper and dropped it on the Swampert's head. It became knocked unconscious and began sinking rapidly. The Rosie tried pulling the Swampert back up, but found herself to be too weak. The stressful situation had caused her to spontaneously evolve into the water-type Bubbles Rosechu, and she was able to bring Swampert and herself to shore with Ice Beam. The next white egg had landed right on the steps of a church, as if through a divine miracle. The egg was taken in and hatched by a pair of nuns, who then taught her the ways of the Lord and encouraged her to use her angelic wings to fly. One night, while the author watched her sleep through the window, the white Rosie had fully evolved into the flying-type Angelica Rosechu. The author secretly gifted her blue shoes and a hair scrunchie before wishing her a good night. Angelica would continue her devotion to the Lord, with the nuns noting the great plan God set out for her. The red egg had found its way to a fighting dojo. The egg hatched in front of the dojo master, and the Sawney became inspired to fight. He challenges a fellow student to a duel, but she first rips off his tail to reduce his number of weak points. This pain causes him to instantly evolve into the fighting-type Punchy Sonichu and hit her with a sky uppercut, launching her through the ceiling. Punchy would go on to study at the dojo and learn to control his anger by watching TV comedies. The final egg lands in a cave on a mysterious mountain. The purple egg hatches, and the Sawney that comes out of it finds himself alone. However, he hears the voice of Mewtwo, who had decided to telepathically mentor him and help him to master his psychic powers. Mewtwo gave the Sawney visions of the outside world, including cities, parks, and popular media such as Jackie Chan films. One day, while meditating, he suddenly broke wind and evolved into the psychic-type Magi-chan Sonichu. Mewtwo felt his work was done and sent the Sonichu out into the world to meet his destiny. Now, a message from this comic's sponsor.
Are you one out of 2 lonely males in the entire world? If you are, then call right now, and we'll send you a beautiful girlfriend free. But be careful, for if you call now, late, or early, you will not get a girlfriend, but a monkey, and you do not want a monkey. So call right now, 1-800-RIGHT-NOW. This offer is valid only to 18 and older girlfriend-free virgin males. Background checks will be executed. Also, this ad is stupidly false.
Episode 11, When Hedgehogs Meet, begins with an introduction from Flame the Sunbird and an explanation of his duty to protect the Master Sunstone, which controls the growth of all things. Disturbing the Sunstone would result in improper growth, such as humans losing or gaining body parts, or trees growing legs and walking. While doing his duty, he notes how lonely it can get on the island and that he can use pants. Unfortunately, he is joined by Black Sonichu, who was given a mission by Giovanni to steal the Sunstone so he can grow his Pokemon's strength and take over the world. He is successful in this plan and takes off on his hoverboard at top speed over the ocean. The Sunbird gives chase and dives at him with a drill peck, which is swiftly avoided with a double team. Blachu makes it ashore but causes a large wave in his wake, soaking Bubbles Rosechu as she lounged on the beach. Angered, she gives chase into a jungle. In this jungle, Blachu's hoverboard knocks into Wild Sonichu swinging his way through the trees, and he gives chase as well. Further ahead, Punchy Sonichu is training near a waterfall by throwing boulders into the air and punching them into pieces. Before he can hit one, he accidentally grabs onto Blachu's hoverboard and is taken for a ride. Punchy gets shaken off and flung into a nearby tree, right next to Angelica Rosachu's flower garden. She comes to him and asks if he's all right, and all the others giving chase join in too. They are all in shock and delight that there are other hedgehog Pokemon like them. They all bashfully introduce themselves. While not there in body, Magi-chan Sonichu's psychic omniscience kept him updated with the situation and let him foresee the original Sonichu also soon crossing paths with them. As foretold, Sonichu was rushing to the scene to investigate what he heard of Giovanni's plan. He encountered Blachu just before he reached Giovanni's lair and dashed into his hoverboard with a banzai. Blachu became infuriated by this and challenged Sonichu to fight. Meanwhile, Magi-chan joined the other hedgehogs and informed them of the situation. While Sonichu was distracted, Blachu was able to sock him and swipe the Sunstone. But just in the nick of time, the entire chaotic combo showed up to save the day. Sonichu called for a team huddle to coordinate a strategy. He devised the brilliant plan of not only avoiding Blachu's attacks, but also hitting them with their own. As according to plan, the entire gang used their moves to brutally toss Blachu around, while Sonichu finished the job with a pinball attack, reclaiming the Sunstone, saving the day, and concluding Issue 3. This episode has been brought to you by MySpace.com.